சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம். சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
உற்றிடுவோம் ஓர் உண்மை நிதி தன்னை உணர்வதுதானே வாழ்வின் கதி.
உற்றிடுவோம் ஓர் உண்மை நிதி தன்னை உணர்வது தானே வாழ்வின் கதி. சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
எத்தனை பிறவி எத்தனை உடல்கள் தத்தளித்தோம் சத்பாவம் இன்றே.
எத்தனை பிறவி எத்தனை உடல்கள் தத்தளித்தோம் சத்பாவம் இன்றி.
அத்தனையும் கற்பூரமாய் எரிய ஆன்ம பொருள்தான் சௌக்கியமாய் மிளிர.
அத்தனையும் கற்பூரமாய் எரிய ஆன்ம பொருள்தான் சௌக்கியமாய் மிளிர. சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம். உணர்ந்தவரவரில் உள்ளொளிதான் அறுத்திடும் அகந்தை விலங்கைத்தான்.
ஏற்றிடு ஒளி சமுதாயத்திலே பணியாற்றிடு ஆன்ம உணர்வினிலே.
ஏற்றிடு ஒளி சமுதாயத்திலே பணி ஆற்றிடு ஆன்ம உணர்வினிலே. சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
உள்ளொளி பெருகும் உன்னத வாழ்வாய் எள்ளளவும் இல்லை சோகம் ஓய்வாய்.
உள்ளொளி பெருகும் உன்னத வாழ்வாய் எள்ளளவும் இல்லை சோகம் ஓய்வாய்.
வள்ளலென வாரி வழங்கும் வானாய் கள்ளமில்லா சிந்தை அதுவே தானாய்.
வள்ளலென வாரி வழங்கும் வானாய் கள்ளமிலா சிந்தை அதுவே தானாய். சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம். சௌக்கியா என்றொரு சௌபாகியம் நாம் பெற்றிடச் செய்தோம் பெரும் பாக்கியம்.
Blessings to all of you.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, ma. We were making some modifications because it's only 2 weeks old after setting up the Satsangs studio like ambience. So we have been arranging. All the fine details are being met with every moment. Upgradation is going on. To a certain extent, now it is set. There is Purnima.
Yeah,
Healthy hair.
she's there. She's here, Guruji. She's gone to put Vivah to sleep. She'll be back soon.
Okay, okay. Oh, sure, okay. What is this thing that we are looking into? What are we looking into really? What is that life which is being lived by us as our day-to-day life, everyday living? What is that form of life or the throb of life that we are living here? What do you think, Vaidehi? Which thing in you is the real life, the authentic life that is lived by you? Who lives in you as your authentic life? You have a name, and that name is for your form, and you say, it is me, mine, I am, all this. And we have been seeing in the past 6 techniques also, 5 koshas, and these 5 koshas are segregating themselves into 3 bodies of different layers. The grossest is the physical body. Is it the life? Is it our life?
No.
The blood that circulates in your veins, is it the life of you? Or the palpitation of the heart, physical heart, is it the life? Or any of the inner organs? What is it that in this body is our life? This is the outermost layer. We say it as a gross physical body with a name and a particular form. Okay. And who is the identifier? Immediately comes the mind, intellect, and the ego. Culminates into one subtle mental body. They call it as mental body, that's all. The mind inseparably entangles, or the body without the mind cannot exist. So this is the next immediate underlying sheath, or the physical or the subtle body, which permeates throughout our waking state as our intimate feelings, as my feelings. I am living, and this I am carrying it for me. Okay, I am carrying it for me. This is me. Like this, it has been going on. Is this that authentic life?
No.
Then what else is left over? Nothing but the deep sleep.
Yeah, nothing but like the so-called awareness, or the words that we actually use, like consciousness, or like the awareness. So definitely not the body mind, the inseparable body mind. But that authentic that authentic life is coming out through this body and mind.
It is expressing itself through this body and mind, through this subtler body called the mind, and the overcoat for it, or the cover for it, is the gross physical name and form. And the real person who lives is the inner mind. The subtler one fully permeates this gross physical body with moment-to-moment identifications. Without this body, it doesn't have a support to identify. It doesn't have a prop, grip on anything. If you name an identification in the external world as a relation, or a thing, or an attachment in the form of money, pride, status, qualification, and designations, whatever we have acquired here, all these things actually are the expressions of the same our physical body name. It's named. You are named as Vaidehi. It is the manifestation of the same name with various issues of the external world, through which your inner mind, without ever disconnected with the physical body, very casually, very naturally jumps into them, touches onto them, lives through them, and the identification grows stronger and stronger. You are not able to disidentify or even handling or doing anything about that identification in the form of certain practices also bring more bondage, more attachment. It is like a gum or a glue, and both the hands, all the fingers are smeared in it, soaked in it with the gum, and you want to relieve all other fingers of the other hand through these fingers, and already this is gotten that this got entangled, this got stuck, all the fingers. Wherever you touch, it grows more, it aggravates more. And this is a physical example. Even in this physical example, we don't find a way. Some other third factor, some other person who comes there, you don't do anything, let me do it. Like that, you will have to simply, without touching your hand, start completely erasing through some stick or some other method, finger after finger. You will have to remove all the gum or the glue, isn't it?
Yes.
The same case applies here also. You just can't do anything of your own, on your own. This is all the more not like the physical gum, which is obvious for all our sensations and perceptions of our jnana indriyas. That's what we see. We see our hand, how we are stuck, how powerful the glue is, how you are not able to even shake your fingers, stretch your fingers so that the gum can be taken out, removed. Nothing can be done. But all the things are sensationally, you feel everything because it's your body. It says, I am stuck in this gum. My fingers are caught. I am trapped. I am not able to relieve on my own. My fingers are, if you join both hands, even they will get stuck. You may not be able to remove those hands separately at all. That would be the case. Here, these things happen in the non-existential subatomic level. That is what is mind. Non-existential, invisible, intangible, imperceivable. The moment you try who that Vaidehi who was happy a moment ago, a while ago, who was that Vaidehi who was suffering or who was stuck in some other feeling. If you try to look for her, you won't find anyone, and you cannot have a grip on the seer or the investigator in you also, who searches this, okay, who wants to extricate or who wants to see why you were suffering a while ago or why you were happy. Who was happy a while ago? Who was suffering a while ago? If you try to look for her within you, you don't find anyone at all. nor the seeker who wants to find the investigator. He doesn't come to your grips. You are not able to comprehend a researcher or an investigator within you even while the search is going on. That is why it appears like a maze game, a game of maze. Okay, that is, it is in the night time, you are stuck in a forest. You are clueless about which direction is what, how the east goes or how the west goes, because it is midnight or after dawn or after dusk. Okay, you got in the forest. So this is the case. Here, all the more the troublesome is the thoughts themselves are darkness. That is why this just to be practiced, a practicerless watchfulness in the form of a phantom like. You shouldn't go seriously also. You should not set another Vaidegi inside of you and start developing her.
That's
To
correct.
look within
Yes,
you.
Guruji.
tell me.
Exactly like how you said, like, when we look for someone, like, when I look for someone, like when I'm like closing my eyes and like meditating, okay, who is that, like, meditating, who is like, getting that thought? Yes, there is no hold, there is no grip, there is no one there. But then in search of that, again, the chatter starts. So we should not even go that, like, literally there is no one, or like, question marks or doubts. We should not even go there. So we just have to let that thought go. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, absolutely right. There are a finer fine tunings are required there. As you said, you are after the chatter of thoughts, or the person who constantly immersed in thoughts. You are trying for her. Who is that person who is continuously sailing on the thoughts? Then what happens is you don't get anywhere. And you start getting doubts about the emptiness, blankness. You will land immediately because you are sincerely doing. That is what is shown by your statements. You have been sincerely attempting. But what happens is you don't find anyone there. Suddenly there is blankness or emptiness, and that emptiness is also not less lit to prevail, and suddenly jumps in the doubter from within, who says, was this the case? Is this the person? There seems to be none there. There doesn't seem to exist anyone there at all. It is something vacuum, blank. Here the finer things are required. What is the finer thing? You should always be behind those eyes or the inner gaze. Inner gaze is not deployed with two eyes, because we always correspond seeing with our physical two eyes. Whereas right now you are nodding, you are understanding something. This understanding eye is from the deepest core. It descends from the deep sleep state, stillness and silence, immediately into your intellect. That intellect's eye is only one eye, single eye. It is not physical. It is invisible, intangible eye that immediately understands this, realizes this also. And from there on, it jumps down to the next immediate lower level, lower layer. That is what is mind, full of thoughts. Even thoughts there move with only one eye. A single thought has a single gaze, single eye. It just sees that. While seeing itself, when the thought itself has an eye, when it sees itself, there is again blankness. That is also an eye actually. You have gone back to the intellectual level now. See, you have pushed yourself into deeper intellectual level. It is still a more confident layer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But
Yes, correct.
one should have the strength to be there without, you should not term it with a name or a thought that there seems to be nothing. Is this the place I have to arrive at? Is this the meditation? Is this what is called as just be? What am I doing? All existential doubts will suddenly arise. They may not even configure themselves into thinking mode, but in an instant, insightfully, you will get all these doubts or some other state where you are not able to move, but you don't want to be there. You are afraid also suddenly. Sometimes we get afraid, we get frightened. But again and again, what is here advised by the realist is just go regress behind one who is frightened. You just look at the state of fear or the fright. Just look at that. By looking at that, you are actually looking at the frightened one in you. Again, he is dissolved. He doesn't exist because all thoughts are non-existential. They are even beneath the subatomic level. This is actually a beautiful science. Beautiful inner science. It takes one to absolute realization. In court cases, they call it as when one is caught. If a case can be registered or prosecution can be made, they will call it as a watertight case. It's a watertight case. That means they are found to be guilty of those charges. The same way here, all what we do actually in the form of sitting silent and still, we are not allowing Vaidehi in any form with a brand name or a branded thought to arise and to do any action. Psychologically, that is what is actually a watcherless watching. There is a room behind you, behind that wall, where Prema Madam is sitting now. There may not be persons inside. But in us, when we close our eyes, when we look within ourselves, the seer also is like that in that state. It's an empty house within. All the five koshas are empty. There is no thinker. There is no feeler. There is no experiencer at all. Then who watches what? We are not here to watch anything at all. We are just recognizing or remembering our deep sleep state. Did we feel the palpitation of our heart while we were asleep? Did we have any feeling of any sort that was troubling us during deep sleep? Physical or psychological or existentially anything, even witness like entity, even as a corpse, dead corpse, the physical body lying on the floor or thought, didn't feel nothing. This remembrance, this strong remembrance of this should always be there behind the seeing. Whenever you start, that is the only reference point. Sleep, deep sleep state didn't have a separate entity to undergo that state. Here, so many entities we are filled with throughout waking state, especially waking state, nothing more than that. Which is each passing thought or a feeling or an experience, there is always constant chatter about that nature of experience and registration of them. Registration of them. How it happens? The moment you bring in a word to it, the moment you conclude something within, mostly we may not talk externally with anyone. We would not have thought aloud. Okay. Thinking aloud. But heart of the heart, we would have concluded one way or the other about an experience or a feeling or that moment. That moment itself is always the moment of labeling, concluding, forming opinions, rejecting, modifying that inner center. Already it is volatile. The inner gaze was never left free in a relaxed state. By and by, we are bringing completely a paradigm shift of relaxation into the inner core. It's just sitting in just be. Just be. We should not try to know who is sitting in just be. What does he want to achieve? And all the more nothing related with progressing, advancing, enhancing the career of life, psychological or on the monetary level or any front. Nothing of this sort. But when this is done, it brings in such a confidence and such a complete, the whole cosmos comes under your control. In your waking state, thoughtful activity. When you are silent and still within, you have the penetrative gaze of looking into things, into the real nature of happening. How will it unfold? What will it do? It's not that what will it do for me or for my family or for my future. There won't be any for my future, for my family or for me, not of this sort, because that is what you have been doing inside while you were in just be. All your focus always should be on non-central, non-centric, selfless, unbiased. And the peak of it always is achieved. How is it achieved? It is achieved by, there's no person as a watcher watches all these things. The realization is the inner eye was not really Vaidehi. The inner eye was not really Purnima. Only on the peripheral level, only on the circumference, we are in a body, we are cased in a body. Gender as a human being, as a name, as particular characteristic traits, bodily or psychologically, all these things, we just live in the outside itself. When you go inside, you have such an eye, it was not a person. You didn't venture it with an entity, a personality within you. You just, it's a very casual. Actually, I am terming it as when you turn within, when you go within, when you look within. The such are all the definitions I'm going on making, but it is such a non-serious affair. Non-serious. Non-serious. It is only non-serious, but it is not unimportant. You get the difference of this.
Yes, yes.
If Vivan goes for this thing playing in the evening or something like that, he goes absolutely casual, no? You need not teach him how you should relax before, how you should warm up his muscles, and he's always warmed up, correct? Ready to bounce and run away from home, right?
Yes.
Similarly, the psychological state of our existence should always be like this. There should not be any thought, because the moment a thought comes, it lays boundaries. It circumscribes you into a boundary. When you are within a limit, there will always be extremes. Means only two sides, right? So two means you are already split. Thoughts cannot make you really undergo a feeling or even a pleasure, even our material well-being or health or money or whatever you call happiness of this world. Nothing can be fully relished because everything is circumscribed in thoughts, thinking. Thoughts cannot give that, and thoughts is the core enemy of the state. That's why all the scriptures, all the realist entities, especially for a human being, what is the main focus is, you are not a thinking machine. You don't need, because you is not a thought. You is something before thought. But this, our everyday waking state existence is 24/7 is, even at the midnight when we have the sensation of going to the bathroom too, we tend to think all the problems. Because that is what we took it as something very real, authentic. How did you take that to be real? Because you took yourself to be real. See, I am Vaidehi, I am Purnima, I am this. I amness is a chatter. Is it a chatter? This is what our seventh technique. Is it a chatter by thought? Is it a movement by feeling? Or is it a movement of an individual's experience? Is this the way that that thing is happening like this? But is it real? Is it true? Is this the life I am living here in this body? Is it real? Is that life real? Again, are you going to do something about that life, or are you going to change? Nothing. Are you even going to ask a question within you? No. What you are supposed to do? Simply live within without coining anything at all. Anything at all. Look at whatever that happens for the purpose of happening there. Just be there. Just be there. The most, the highest thing what you should do is just be with the phantom-like entity without him searching for anything, stopping anything, modifying anything. He doesn't do anything at all. But his presence is very essential. If he becomes an investigator or an inquirer, isn't true. Deep sleep hasn't allowed anyone to remain there. And where is the question of reaching that abode, employing some other means like inquiry or looking at? Who is the onlooker? Even that is a fictional eye. Whoever investigates within, he is also a fiction. Knowingly entertain that fiction, remain with that fiction. Fiction. It isn't true. Fiction. Don't attribute any positivity or negativity, aspire for one or the other. Any psychological manipulation about the seer, about one who deploys that gaze, is not real. It's not real. We will go to the video part of it and see for the seventh technique.
Guruji, can I ask a question before we go on to the video?
Yeah, ask me, ma'am.
Guruji, say for instance, there is so many things that goes on with every day-to-day living. Say for instance, there's some sort of a very tensed situation that's coming, or it's come to you, or it's come to me. So how do I exactly have a watcherless like gaze and still continue to do what is necessary at that point of time? Say for example, my car breaks down. And how do I still, because at that point of time, one, it'll be like, what would I do next? If it's the first time that's happening to me, the first thing that'll come is I'll be anxious because I won't know what I need to do next. But if I have already had that experience, then I will know the steps that I need to do. But for the first time that I'm seeing a new problem, anxiety is the first thing that comes. But at that particular point, how would I have a watcher-like gaze?
Yeah.
Watcherless like gaze.
Yeah. It's a fantastic question, beautiful question. In the sense, even an unexpected moment, unexpectedly things do happen. Even for that, you want to get prepared in advance. He is the one who suffers, who is searching for a ready-made answer, ready-made way out to extricate coming out of a situation which is unwarranted or unexpected, untimed, unnatural. Even our way of using the word natural is already point one, fully finished one, finished product. Prototype has been set. This is what they call it as past. Now, in your country, the sun has already set. The night has arisen. The night has come already. Has the sun gone anywhere? Its absence is also there in the form of darkness. No?
Yes.
Can darkness happen without the disappearance of light? Can darkness alone can exist separately? It is the absence of light, that's all. Or the disappearance of light. There is nothing exclusively a state of light exists, nor there is a state of darkness exclusively exists. As the morning is going to dawn in a very, very nano level, the sun's rays must be penetrating that part of the land. No? If you watch early morning sunrise, exactly around right from 4:30, 4:45 onwards, you just start watching for it. You would not have expected that it will be so bright by the moment the sun dawns on the eastern horizon. Such an illumination. These things are happening physically, light and darkness. Why don't you doubt this must be most intense when even psychologically. Psychologically, all the events are already happened in you. You want to have a chart, roadmap, a GPS like map. When your car is stuck, broke down, and something unexpectedly happened, you don't want the term at all. The thing should be unexpected. Everything should fall in place, and according to my knowledge, right? So everything, this very question was asked from your knowledge, no? Whatever so far you have processed about handling events, handling emergencies, how to, all are how to, isn't it?
Yes.
Was there a Purnima who planned for anything when she fell asleep? How did she meet deep sleep? How did she meet deep sleep? Was Purnima and deep sleep were pre-planned?
No.
Did it happen unexpectedly? You
It
were
just
very,
happened. There's no
so,
method.
you enjoy, no? You enjoy the closing of eyes, you enjoy dropping of all thoughts, feelings.
Yes.
Completely the body is relaxed, didn't you?
Yes.
And in a while, absolute bliss, fully relaxed. Can relaxation be brought by a method? Through step 1, through step 2, through step 3, anxiety can be removed like this. Anxiety is not our state at all. That we have to realize. Our state is not the state of anxiety. Our state is not the state of tension, friction. If you take that word tension, it starts with the verb tense. All the tense represents time. If you elongate something, even a rope, it goes to such an extent, then it snaps. The same way, your tolerance is in certain thoughts, certain values. If someone touches you like that, say on the unexpected level through an event, then you say, I became tense. It was not handleable by me. I couldn't digest that moment. I ran helter-skelter. I couldn't think anything. That what all these words or statements within you show, these show you were very, very acclimatized only with thinking. And you took thinking to be the real way of living. Without realizing, they are actually the contrary. The contrary is the real thing. And no one teaches this. Suppose, if we have started enjoying deep sleep, and how you are getting into deep sleep, and how you are emerging out of deep sleep, through thinking, through time, through all this tension, anxiety, depression. Because for why do you get up? Because daily course is waiting for you. The course of life. Who are they? Purnimas in different levels of tension or anxiety or friction, whatever you call it, stress. Same thing is again handled, and you get trained and you say, those things I am able to do, and certain things when they happen, what is the way, whether this will help. This will help not only ordinary, it will help the extraordinary. The strength stems from the root. What is the root of you? Silence and stillness of the deep sleep state. That's why I am straight away giving the ultimate. It's not I am giving, I am showing you. I am letting you to realize, letting you, your inner being to recognize. You are the source of absolute beautiful relaxation, and that relaxation is not bound by even physical birth and physical death. Because you didn't feel that you were born when you were asleep. So everything is associated with the birth of Purnima. In the sense of a thought, in the sense of an unexpected emergency that has happened to her. So you dichotomize Purnima with a lot of happenings also. You go cluttered. Who has got lost in you in this clutter? For this, you don't have to do anything at all. What we say? You just be. Don't judge. Let there be clutter within you. Be there. It will go on its own because it is not permanent. It is not true also. It is not real.
Right.
All your thoughts are not real. All entities, all personalities of Purnima within her are not real. Not even one Purnima, if you see one with your identification with that body and form, and that is also not real. That gives space to lot of Purnimas to well within, and see those Purnimas say that I will retrieve you, I will help you. This thought will help you. Through this thought, I will come in this way and I will help you. Through this thought, I will make you anxiety free. I will make you stress free. Immediately you call 10 persons on the phone. What am I to do? I am stuck here. You are frantically seeking their help. Someone rush here, save me. I don't know a method or a way. You need not know anything at all. For to come out of anything, you don't need to know anything at all. You have to stay still, not seeking anything at all. And you will have to see the beauty of that living. You get this?
Yes.
You
So,
will have
Guruji,
to, tell me, ma. Tell me.
like from what you're saying, Guruji, what I am understanding is that resistance, nothing unexpected should happen to me, and nothing untoward happens to me. That resistance is also a mere thought. That one also, we should just say, whatever may happen, we just have to be. We just have to be without think. That's also just a thought.
Yes.
That this is difficult, the toughness is coming on me is a thought.
Yes.
So I have to not even think. I have to just be.
No, it is not the question of your thinking. It will bounce on you. It will thrust itself on you. But you should become so indifferent. You should become so indifferent, knowingly indifferent. Suppose the case she has quoted, suppose sudden I wanted to go to some place, on the way I got stuck. The car got stuck. It got burst or punctured or something like that. It's a highway. This side and that side, no one. Okay. You remain. This thing has happened to me. your mother knows Sringeri. Once I took my wife to Mangalore airport. From Sringeri it is 100 kilometers. It's a dense Western Ghats. They call it as Kudiremukh forest. Kudiremukh means it's like a horse maze. Kudiremukh forest. Both sides it will be closed. While entering the forest range, you will have to take a token, security, and you will have to return it there because no signals you will get. My car got stuck. And it was December with a chilly night. The night has set in and the car didn't start at all. I am so acquainted with the inner seeing. I never sought anyone inside of me, sought help in any form. I always surrendered or yielded to whatever that was unfolding within me, whether it is blankness or darkness or silence or stillness, without even naming them. I went to such heights of flavor and bliss. The same thing was actually there at that night also. It was around 7:15 night, already pitch dark. I told my wife, because only one-way road to get down the mountains, forest range, I will have to travel another 90 kilometers. And the dashboard light shows that there was no engine oil at all, which I didn't notice before starting. So what happened is suddenly I was actually seeing the emptiness and silence and stillness only within me. Suddenly what happened was I was about to put the car with that signal, standard signal, this thing, light, and to ask for some help, the passerby cars. What happened was suddenly a group of boys between 16 to 20, each one speaking different southern languages. One is talking Malayalam, one is talking Kannada, one is talking Tamil. They jumped and it was like a mechanic car. They just came and parked in front of my car and said, Uncle, what happened? Since I was very familiar with the inner stillness and silence, I was very sure that these are not really boys. This is playing with me. The thing is playing with me. It happened so also. What they said, Uncle, don't worry. You have water bottles? Yes, of course I have 10 liters, 15 liters of 2 bottles. Give me. What they did, they opened the bonnet. It is already very cool and car. Never radiator heat, and we will have to apply water into it to make it cool. Such a machine, it was not such an engine. What they did is in the place where we will have to put the engine oil, they filled up all the water, about 15 liters of water. Now you start, Uncle. 2 boys were standing by the window side and 2 were in the front. I started. Don't worry, Uncle, it will go. Get down the hills. After 50 or 60 kilometers, you will see a motel. There you take another big jugs of 15 liters. Put more water. Which we obediently did. We will follow you like that, they said. They never followed us because that was the one route. We never saw those guys or the car following us. Because I could travel only 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers speed. They should have followed us, but they didn't follow. We came down, my wife also, he also placed some water like that. And we poured all the 25-30 liters water. Until next day morning, we went to a hotel, we stayed there. Next day morning, I took the car to the airport. I dropped there. Then en route, I will have to return back to the 100 kilometers in the same forest area. That time I went to that garage, Renault Logan garage, Mahindra. Then they checked it. They mounted the car on that thing. They opened that engine oil segment. About 2 liters of water, only water was coming out. What did you do? You put water? They were all astonished. They dried every last drop of water and they have put the first class oil, some 5 liters or 6 liters of oil into that. They ran the engine, they took the vehicle for 3 or 4 hours. They took about 1 hour, more than 1.5 hours, and then only let me go. Happens. We will have to be patient. This life is to be not for judgments, forming opinion. Even at the crescendo of fight, complexes, conflicts. Okay, that's the challenge.
I would totally deem it miracle.
Huh? Huh?
I would deem it miracle, like your
would?
situation. Yeah.
Yes, anyone would. Anyone would. Even my wife was terribly frightened. What are you going to do? You are going to leave the car in this dense forest. And she had to take that flight next morning, 7:30 a.m. flight. We'll have to see another 2 hours travel is there. So many things were going on there in mind. I said, but I was totally here. The inner abode is without any time compulsion, without anything at all, without any boundaries, without any barriers. Absolutely truth alone. But we mistake truth for only thoughts. We only take thoughts, forms, feelings, ideas, complexes, because we are lost in this physical body with that name and form. This is what I had given as the last technique. You just read that technique and start doing it on your own. Okay? Shall we go? Purnima, are you clear now?
Yes, very clear.
Yeah. You seek that strength of tolerating all that is going on within you.
Yeah.
All that is. Don't only these are all good things. Let me think on these lines. Let me not think on these lines. Only reject these things. No, pick and choose. Everything is worthless.
Yeah.
Everything is worthless. Only surrender is the best means. Best method.
Okay.
Only method. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, we will go to this is the 7th technique, self-inquiry technique 7. We will just see what we tried in the 6th one. This is 5th. In the 5th, we had stated when we bring back the witness-like authentic being into our waking state life, through staying in just be 24/7, we attain all prosperities in our lives. Okay. That is witness-like, phantom-like, not seriously. Then came the 6th technique. This is the 6th technique. 24/7 being a just be watcher within actually is that the inner seeing is not under the influence of any past experience, feeling, thought. I didn't want a conclusion for my unexpected happening when I was caught. Okay. I didn't want a relief. Neither I wanted something I should get stuck. I just kept on surrendering my personal choices. Absolute surrender. True surrender. Okay. Is not under the influence of any past experience, feeling, thought. This is what is called as living in a watcherless, witness-like inner gaze. This will make one's intellect shine in excellence in his day-to-day life. Purification of intellect lays foundation for enlightenment. See, this will auto-correct the waking state things. Okay. We are not doing for correcting our waking state things. Because waking state things are not true. One who is wakeful is not true. Okay. One who has woken up is not true. This is the current technique. You please read this.
Truly which as our life makes our day-to-day living, and what is that life?
Truly which as our life. We call something as life. What is that our life? That makes our day-to-day living, moment to moment living. Only thoughts, feelings, experiences, emotions, judgments, conclusions. And what is that life? It is a repeat performance. That's all. However, how much ever you like that or you reject. Neither of them you should not do. Neither you reject nor you should seek for it. A state of even observerless observation. Okay? This is what you have to do. That is what is constituting the complete cosmos, not only your life, your events. Okay? This trust alone, it is not that you are getting the trust through doing this. You are actually getting out of the way where already trust is lying in. Like a mountain, okay?
Yes.
This is what you will have to do. You can start doing it. We will meet next week. Okay?
Yes, good.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, blessings.